Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another installment of my DVD collection. This is part 3. But before I start, I'm gonna give a shout out to my dude Killer Tapes 93 out of Cali. He always be showing me love, man, and he posts some old videos. You know, he does like kind of like what I do. Like, you know, he'll do like he actually go to the store and go and film what he gets and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And he shows like his his hip hop vinyl collection and stuff like that. Pretty dope right there. I don't personally collect hip hop vinyl. I really collect vinyl for samples and stuff like that, and it's just like music that I like and stuff like that. But shout out to you, my dude. If you guys want to know more of his channel, I'll post it down in the description box. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and shout out to everybody, like to the people. Well, not shout out, but all the people that live in the Northeast, that's going through the crazy blizzard. Please stay inside, be safe, stay warm. That should remind me of the winter of '96, man, because I remember when I used to live in New York, yo, that blizzard was crazy. I had no school for a week. I remember that shit. But enough of that. I have to represent, you know what I mean? But anyways, enough of that. Y'all want to hear me blabbing? You guys want to see the DVDs, alright? First DVD of this video is the Ren and Stimpy, the first two seasons, which derived from 1991 to 1993. This came out in 2004. Very controversial because, as you can see, it says uncut, but it's heavily edited, and there's a lot of people's complaints. And yeah, that's one thing like that pisses me off, man. It's like you got all these these diehard fans that been watching your show since the early '90s, and this is how you repay us. So a lot of people was giving shit to Paramount. Like, Paramount has nothing to do with that. That has to do with Nickelodeon. So you gotta blame Nickelodeon for that. So, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it is what it is. But Ren and Stimpy, this is the first 2 seasons. If it was for this show, you wouldn't have stuff like SpongeBob or Beavis and Butthead. You wouldn't have none of that. You wouldn't have South Park or anything like that. So, but yeah, Ren and Stimpy, definitely dope, classic right here. Some of my favorite cartoons were growing up in the '90s. All right, Ren and Stimpy. Then we got State Property 2, released in 2005. This came out, around the time that Beanie Sigel had dropped his Becoming album. Fucking dope album. I have to get my hands on the album and definitely do a review on that album. But this was definitely a dope way to kind of promote the album. But this movie sucked. I'm sorry to say. Like, it starts off with him going to jail. Then he meets this dude named I think his name is Papi Loco, played by Nori. And my gripe with this was it was too comedic, whereas the first one was like more serious. I kind of wanted them to kind of go back to that, you know what I mean? But it was like a bad time for Rockefeller Records, because at that time, like, Rockefeller was kind of like on the downhill. They were kind of on the decline. They were like, State Property wasn't the same. I think that's when like Jay-Z and Dame had broke up at that time, so it was a lot going on with this shit right here. But I was very disappointed with this shit right here. At the time when I first bought it, yeah, it was funny, but then watching it back in retrospect, I didn't really care too much about this shit right here. But Pollo Loco, I think. Yeah, Pollo Loco. I think that's a crazy logo. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? This shit is whack. That's all I have to say. State Property 2, released in 2005. Then we got Killer Army, A Day in the Life. This was released in 2003. Pretty much it's just showing them, like, between, like, around, like, I think this was recorded around 2001, 2002, so it's like around the making of, like, the last time they had dropped in 2001 called Fair Love and War, which I need to get my hands on. I only have their first 2. And yeah, it just shows, like, studio sessions, concerts, footage and shit like that. But yeah, definitely good to have. My dude Justin that lives in Japan, shout out to him. You know, he gave me this shit. He's the same one that gave me the Sean Price joint and the the Mob D infamous Allegiance. I think I showed you guys that one. Yeah, he showed me. Yeah, he's the one that gave me that. So shout out to him, man. Yeah, so it's pretty much like a walkthrough of Fear, Love, and War. Like to see the recording process and the concerts around that time. So like around 2000, 2001, 2002, around that time. So that's pretty much it. It's kind of short, like 44 minutes long. So yeah, Killer Army: A Day in the Life, released in 2003. I believe this is long out of print, so as you can imagine. Pieces, this was released in 1982. I've been trying to get this movie for years. Finally got this joint, got it a couple years ago. This was, like I said, it came out in 2000. No, it came out in 1982, but it dropped in 2008. So I think around that time is when I bought it. It starts off taking place in 1942. We got this kid named Timmy who found like a pornographic, you know, puzzle of a naked woman, and his mom was pretty much chastising the little kid. Oh, what is this? You know, because you know she found like his porn stash, and then like you know he's about to beat him and shit like that. But then he ended up killing his mom on some like you know Michael Myers killing his sister, you know, from the first one, so some shit like that. But you know Timmy ended up killing his mom with an axe, you know what I mean? I think the kid was like, 10 years old or some shit like that, or 8. I don't remember how old he was, or 7, some shit like that. Don't remember. And then 40 years later, Timmy is all grown up, but you don't know what he looks like, and he ends up killing a whole bunch of people around the campus, the college campus, and stuff like that. Pretty dope movie. Love the kills off this movie. Finally glad it was reissued because the version I had was a bootleg and the quality was really bad. The video quality was horrible. So finally got this joint right here. Glad it came out. I think this came out on Blu-ray. I'm not sure, but pretty dope. There's a double. Is it? Yeah, it's a double disc. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't remember the second one. What it entails. Oh, it comes with special features. Yeah, it comes with special features, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you can find this, definitely pick it up. This is Pieces, released in 1982. Then we got the first Terminator, you know, classic movie. My favorite out of the whole series. Yes, I like it better than Terminator 2. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that, but I just like the whole backstory with this movie. It's just like about how, because if you guys are familiar with the whole Terminator series, you know, with John Connor, you know, being like this general, just, you know, taking over Skynet. But with this movie, it's kind of like the backstory where, you know, Reese meet with Sarah, and you know, the Terminator, the T-1000, I think it was his name. I think it was the T-1000 Terminator's character was sent to kill Sarah Connor so John Connor wouldn't be alive. And it's like an ill backstory to it. Just love how gritty the movie is. Excuse me. Love the score of this movie. You know what I mean? But very dope. I know a lot of people prefer the second one because of the graphics and all that stuff, which is cool. I don't knock it, but I like this one better. It's just like has everything. It's like has the romantic side, and it has like, you know, it's just like nice somber moments, like the nice like loving moments, and then, you know, some, you know, it just has like that horror movie, slasher movie type of feel. This is what I like about this movie right here. But the Terminator, released in 1984. Then we got Gumby. Yeah, I got Gumby. Yeah, this box set came out in 2002. I bought it back in 2005. A roommate of mine's, an old roommate of mine's from back in the day, he actually gave me, like, I think I gave him the money and he bought it for me, because at that time I wasn't eBay savvy, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really buying stuff off the internet, because I wasn't internet savvy like that as far as like buying you know, CDs and stuff like that. I had other people do that for me. But anyways, this is just like a collection, like all the episodes that came out throughout the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. Very glad to have this. It's come with 7 DVDs. It's another one that's very controversial, because, you know, when this came out, it was replaced with the 80s version. And what I mean by that is the one with the synthesized score, and that came out in the 80s, the one that I grew up with. Cause the ones that, cause like I'm pretty sure that the baby boomers that grew up in the 50s watching this were expecting the original soundtrack, and you know I could understand the frustration, cause but I don't mind it, cause like I said, I like 80s music. So, but like I said, that's the one I grew up watching back in the early 90s, you know, on Nickelodeon throughout the day and shit like that in the morning times. So, but you know, it is what it is. Good luck finding this, because it's long out of print. And at the time when I bought it, well, when my roommate bought it for me, it was like $55 and it was out of print then. So I just recently checked for it, and I seen it go for like $155 online. So which is crazy. But you know, with this, I mean, definitely gotta pick it up. But yeah, if you can find it, definitely pick it up. Gumby, released in 2002, is the box set. Then we got Bashment, Fork in the Road, released in 2005. It's a Jamaican movie. Love this movie, very dope. It's pretty much about this kid named Symbol, you know, out of Brooklyn. It takes place in Brooklyn, and you got a group of friends, you know, like, you know, if you guys are familiar with New York, especially like Queens, Brooklyn, some parts of the Bronx and stuff like that, you guys know it has like a big West Indian community, and especially in Brooklyn, there's a lot of competition, like dance-off competitions with, you know, dance-hall and stuff like that. There's a big community out there with that, and a lot of dance-off, and that's what like New York is, Brooklyn particularly is known for, especially back in the day. And they do it to this day. So any West Indian community, neighborhood you have in your area, more than likely they're gonna have something like that. Well, he's a dancer, Symbol, he's a dancer and stuff like that, and he has friends that's kind of like on the wrong side of the tracks, pretty much, like just dabbling into the, you know, the street life and stuff like that, and then just like, you know, just dumb, like, you know, just like them trying to figure out life and things like. It's a pretty dope movie, man. It's a hood movie. Like I said, came out in 2005. By the way, for my Jamaican veterans out there, can you guys recommend me some good Jamaican movies? Yes, I do know about Shotters. I do know about that. I know about Third World Cop. I know about Dancehall Queen. I know about Rockers. I know about The Harder They Come. Let me know some other ones. I know about Rockers too. So let me know some other ones, man. Some, like, you know, A Kid from Foreign, and, you know, movies like that. Let me know about those shits, alright? That's Bashment, The Fork in the Road, released in 2005. How much time I got left? Still got some time. Alright, so with this one, got the Children of the Corn, the collection. It derived from the second one, third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, and the seventh one. Alright? That's the only reason why I copped this, because I wasn't gonna buy all of them shits, because I'm gonna keep it real with you, all of them sucked. The only good ones was the first one. It was the most believable one. Love the score from the first one. I mean, I still love everything. I mean, I even have the soundtrack on vinyl. Like, that tells you right there. Like the third one, like when you start doing horror movies in the hood, yeah, you know that's bad. I mean, yeah, it's fucking bad. Like, it's horrible. The only one I like from that horror movie that was made in the hood, or hood like hood horror movies that I like was it's a vampire movie that came out in 1990 called Death by Temptation. Very underrated. It's with Kadeem Hardison. Very hard to come by. If you guys can get your hands on that one, definitely pick that up. I don't have that because I'm not really big on vampire movies, but you know what I mean. But and you got Black Blood that came out in '72 and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, I bought this back in 2011 around Halloween, around that time. Yeah, man, I wasn't crazy about this one, but yeah, Children of the Corn, all the collections, all the movies that came out back then, right? I got that at Walmart. So then we got Assault on Precinct 13. This is the original one, not the 2005 bullshit one that came out. So you already know what I'm going with this one. But pretty good movie, man. This is one of John Carpenter's earlier movies that he's done. It's pretty much about a police officer. It takes place in Los Angeles, where I think he's transferred, or he's I think he's getting transferred, or he's leaving a police station. A police station that's like, poorly staffed. Cause I think they were about to close that one. And it was like the last day of it closing and stuff like that, because they were getting transferred to a new police department. So him and a couple other staff members were like the last ones there, kind of like the last of Mohicans type of thing. But then you got this like gang who pretty much ambushed the whole police station, and you got like a whole bunch of criminals. I think like the van had broke down or some shit like that, so they had to go to that police station that was poorly staffed. And then like I said, they're surrounded by like a gang and stuff like that, so they're like outnumbered and things like that. It's pretty dope. It's a pretty dope movie. Definitely has like a horror movie feel to it. The ice cream truck scene. Oh my god. Whew. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. If you guys know or familiar with that scene, you guys know what I'm talking about. I know this came out on Blu-ray, so I definitely had to pick it up. But I've always liked this cover. Pretty dope right there. Saw On Precinct 13. Love the score for that movie. Pretty dope. This was released in 1976. Oh my shit. Back in time. Woo. Anyways, got this joint right here. Brother Minister, The Assassination of Malcolm X, released in 2005. The best documentary on Malcolm X. I mean, they go really in depth with this shit. I mean, it talks about it actually gives you like hints of who killed Malcolm X. I mean, it's so controversial. I was lucky. I was blessed with this back in 2007 when I used to work at Walmart. One of my dudes, Jamal, who was a 5%er at one point in his life. He's not one no more, but he hooked me up with this joint right here, and he hooked me up with it, and I looked it up to see how much it cost, because this is long out of print. So good luck finding this shit. On Amazon, I seen it go for like $38, and on eBay, I seen it go for $330. So that right there, I mean, it is crazy, man. I mean, you can tell like they didn't want you to really see this movie. I mean, this documentary. So that right there tells you right there. But very good. If you can get your hands on it, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix or whatever streaming sites they have. Definitely make sure they have this joint right here. Very good. I highly recommend it. If you guys are Malcolm X fans like I am, I'm a big fan of him. Obviously Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. I'm pretty big on that, you know what I mean? But yeah, Malcolm X, The Brother Minister, The Assassination of Malcolm X, released in 2005. You can find it, pick it up. Then we got, I showed you guys this movie before. Out of Sync with LL Cool J. This was released in 1995. I mentioned this movie when I did the Mrs. Smith movie. So this came out like around that time. And this movie is pretty much about a DJ who has a gambling problem. He owes mad money to the mafia or whatever mob is. I guess it's like the mafia, like those like crime syndicate or whatever. He owes money to them, and he's trying to like pretty much escape from the debt. And he's with, he has his girlfriend with the going with him with a wild goose chase. Yeah, man. Well, Victoria Diller, the one that played Deep Cover with Lawrence Fishburne, who played Lawrence Fishburne's girlfriend. Well, she played Al Cool's girlfriend in this movie right here. But yeah, Out of Sync, it's okay. It's not the best movie. Yeah, it is what it is. So, but yeah, Out of Sync released in 95. Then we got 36 Chambers of Shaolin, released in 1978. Classic movie right here. A lot of Wu-Tang samples, especially from the first movie. From the first album, were taken from this. It's pretty much about a monk. Well, he didn't become a monk yet, but he's a guy that was part of a martial arts school. Pretty much rebelling against the government at that time. The Manchu government, I think they were called. They end up killing his master, and he didn't know how to fight. So he was all lost and stuff like that. He was lost in the sauce, and then he ended up finding a monk school or whatever. And at first, like, they treated him like an outsider. He was an outsider. Like, they don't let outsiders in. So like the master of that school, just kind of like let him in and stuff like that. And then he goes through these chambers, which is like, pretty much levels of training. And then he got to the 36 chambers, which was like the ultimate master, the train, like the ultimate level. And then he becomes like this crazy fighting machine, man. He goes in. This is definitely a dope movie, man. Shout out to the Shaw brothers, man. I mean, they made classic movies right there. But yeah, 36 Chambers of Shaolin, which is 1978. If you're a Wu fan, highly recommend getting this movie right here. Alright? Then we got Macabre. This was released in 1980. I think 1980. Yeah, 1980. It's about, this girl who, I think she's having sex with her lover or whatever, or boyfriend or whatever. And then there was a scene in the beginning where, like I said, they're making love, and he ends up getting decapitated from a car accident or whatever. And then she gets all depressed and stuff like that. She gets sent to the mental institution. She went crazy, things of that nature. And then she comes back, and then she keeps a certain body part in her freezer, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. And it's it's just crazy, man. But yeah, Macabre, released in 1980. It was a little bit slow. It was a bit slow in a sense, but it was okay. Kind of boring in a sense, but got some decent kills. Not the best, but yeah. Macabre, released in 1980. Then we got Eyes of a Stranger. This was released in 1981. I think this was Jennifer Jason Leigh's first movie, her movie debut. It's pretty much about a girl. I think she was deaf and blind. Yeah, she's deaf and blind, who lives in an apartment with her sister. And I think her sister was like an actress or some shit like that. But then they keep there's a rapist that keeps stalking them. Anytime before he kills and rapes his victims, he would call them, just kind of stalking them, just letting them know yo, I'm gonna do this type of shit. And he ends up doing that and stuff like that, and then they end up facing the killer and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, this movie was filmed in South Beach in Florida, so here in Florida, but in South Beach, which is like an hour and a half away from where I live. But yeah, Eyes of a Stranger, released in 1981. It was okay. It wasn't the best. But yeah. Then we got Happy Birthday to Me. This was released in 1980. I want to say 81. 1980 and 1981. This is the original version. This is a 2010 version. But the original version, and what I mean by that is because there's a 2004 version. I think, if you can see. No, it doesn't have the flipper. But the 2004 version, which is long out of print, I believe it is. You see a girl with a kind of with this, with that cake, with blood, and she has a knife, and you see with the crazy white eyes, kind of like the girl from The Exorcist. Well, a lot of people was complaining about that version because it didn't use the original soundtrack, kind of like what I was talking about with the Gumby, kind of the same concept with the 2004 version. So the producers of this album, I guess, listened and actually got the original soundtrack of this movie and put it on this joint right here. But it's pretty much about a girl who wants to be part of the clique, pretty the popular kids. But the popular kid, I'm pretty sure everybody that went to high school have the group of friends that everybody wants to be part of, that's always throwing the parties. Well, you had a clique like that in this movie. but one by one, there's somebody killing off all those popular kids. And so, who could it be? Who knows? And that's what this movie's about. All right, dope kills right here. Dope slasher movie. Highly recommend it. If you can find it, pick it up. I'm not sure if it came out on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure it did. But if you do find it, pick it up. Then we got When a Stranger Calls, released in 1979. Probably one of the biggest disappointed movies I've ever seen in my life. And the reason why I say that is because the first 20 minutes of the movie was the best part of the movie. And what I mean by that is that if you guys seen the first Scream movie where you had Drew Barrymore pretty much being stalked, you know, calling like, yo, what's your favorite scary movie, blah blah blah. Well, they got that from this movie, and that's pretty much the same thing with this movie. The first 20 minutes, like I said, it was entailed with that, but then by the rest of the movie, it's like a whole different movie. It's like, you know, you see them trying to figure out who's you know, the killer and stuff like that. It didn't really feel like a real movie. It felt like a TV movie that you would see like back in the early 80s or the late 70s. Like, had like that TV movie feel to it, and I didn't really care for that, man. But yeah, man, this is When a Stranger Calls, released in 1979. The remake was better in this movie. That's all I have to say about that. That says a lot. Then we got Boys in the Hood. Shout out to my dude Lounge out of Bristol in England. This was released in 1991. Very dope movie. This is a classic movie. This was the acting debut of Ice Cube. I want to say Cuban Gooding Jr., but Cuban Gooding Jr. was actually in Coming to America when he was getting his haircut. So if you want to count that, but it's, as far as having like his full length acting debut, I would say this movie. I think it is. I could be wrong. I know some of my movie buffs might correct me, but that's what I'm here for. I don't know everything. So, but this movie's pretty much about a kid who named Trey, who live with his mom, a single parent home. Everybody can relate to that. I could relate to that because I live in that particularly right now. But where he's a good kid, but he has an anger problem. He has a temper problem. So there was a kid, you know, there was a kid who was pretty much like what his boy supposedly was like, pretty much making fun of him because obviously he was smarter than his friend. So he called him an African booty scratcher and all that shit. They ended up getting fighting and stuff like that. And so he ends up moving with his father that lived in South Central Los Angeles, Ice Cube's old neighborhood that he grew up in. And then from then on, he grew up there, things like that, being friends with Doughboy and they were friends before, and Ricky, and then like. And it's just seeing how they grew up in the hood, just like how the trials and tribulations live in the hood. It's a very good movie. Trying to find a Blu-ray, but it's hard as hell to find. I mean, at least here in Florida, you know what I mean? Well, I guess it's where I live, but you know, I just have to go on eBay and get this shit. But I could never find the Blu-ray version of this movie, man. But yeah, this has the flipper disc, which is like the full screen, the widescreen, which I fucking hate. Yo, you guys that live that are young, you guys don't have to deal with that. But in the 90s, very, very infamous, man. I fucking hated that because you had the full screen and then you had to flip it around to get the widescreen. So yeah, hated that joint right there. But yeah, Boys in the Hood, released in 1991. And then last but not least is Carrie, released in 1976. Pretty dope movie, man. It's a very good movie. It's pretty much a girl who lives in a Christian home. Her mom is kind of like a wingnut, kind of like one of those conservative Christian nuts, like a Christian fundamentalist. Fundamentalist is what they would call them. Yeah, pretty much who. Yeah, she's a fanatic. She's a religious fanatic, is what I'm trying to say. And you know, it's a girl who's kind of like sheltered. She's very sheltered is what I'm trying to say. She's very shy. She has no way of socializing. She has no social skills. People make fun of her